Good morning and welcome to the GELION PLC investor presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and could be submitted at any time via the Q&A tab situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company can review all questions submitted today and publish responses where it's appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I'd like to submit the following poll. I'd now like to hand you over to John Wood, CEO. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Look, it's an honor to be able to take this opportunity to give you this update at this very important and exciting time for GELION, your company. First of all, I would draw attention to our disclaimer here. Our lawyers say hello. Look, companies are about people. That's where I wanted to start here. It's a little snapshot of some of the people. It's only part of my leadership team here, but on my roadshows and my updates with GELION, of course, today we have our CFO, Amit Gupta, with me, who is doing an absolutely outstanding job. Amit, thank you for your work. Also on the roadshows along the way, a lot of you have met Louis Adrianson, our CTO. Adrian Amiguez, who's our president of GELION UK and Europe, has been out to meet shareholders with me. And over on the far right corner, introducing Mr. Tracy Sizemore, who's our senior vice president of global partnerships. Now, there's some little flags up in the top right corner. You'll notice that Tracy is saying hello from the USA. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the presentation. We're blessed with an extraordinary panel of technology advisors. Our very own founder, Professor Thomas Maschmeyer, regarded as one of the top 15 chemists on the planet. The remarkable Professor Marcus Antonietti, the director of the Max Planck Institute of Colloids and Interfaces, and Germany's most cited chemist and most cited material scientist, and most recently, Professor, it's an honor to be able to invite Professor Rashid Yazami to join our advisory as well. Famous across the battery industry, one of the pioneers of lithium-ion technology when Professor Rashid Yazami did his seminal work on the methods for intercalation of lithium into graphite. Again, you'll see where that fits into your company in perspective as we advance through this presentation. Okay, who are we and what are we doing? Look, GELION, this sulphur battery company, is targeting the cathodes market, which is projected to be 132 billion in 2032. And we're following a path less followed in a way that we're going after that. This is a very big prize, very important. We want to move quickly to establish leadership. So the way we're doing that is we're working very hard on global collaborations. Now, there's a couple of our corporate collaborations that you can see at the top there with TDK and Kinetic. We also are working very hard on technology collaborations, and so three that we're highlighting here is our partnership with the University of Sydney, Professor Thomas Maschmeyer, and work with Oxford in the UK, and of course the multi-year collaboration with the Max Planck Institute of Colloids and Interfaces. Underneath that, you can see government collaborations. Big call out for ARENA, absolutely in our corner. Thank you very much for the recent extension. The Advanced Propulsion Centre in the UK and the Faraday Institution, both of who've been supporters of this campaign. We are really very grateful to our government partners, our academic partners, and our commercial partners. And of course, the other thing we're doing is we're building a strong patent network as we go. So we're building a strong core of technology. A little strategy update for you, a little talk about the market opportunity. Your company has three operating divisions. We are GELION, the sulphur battery company. That is our primary business. It's where a lot of the excitement is about what we're doing right now. We also have an integrated solutions division and a recycling division. Everybody in your company are hitting their straps, working really hard on performance. I'm going to start with our sulphur business. We have an ambitious goal. We want to establish sulphur cathode material, our sulphur cathode material, as an alternate to the incumbent LFP and NMC technologies. That is a huge and important market opportunity. So that you can put it in perspective, today, the market for cathode materials is about $44 billion. It's growing to 132 by 2032, and it is serviced principally by two chemistries. That's LFP and NMC. Your company, GELION, is working to provide an alternative to those chemistries, and that's a sulphur cathode material. How are we doing that? Well, you can see on this picture, the picture on the left is actually our material. We call that nano-encapsulated sulphur, NES. So LFP, NMC, and NES. So that material and the way that we are approaching the introduction of that material globally is towards it becoming a drop-in. So what you'll see in the picture in the middle, that actually is a sheet of cathode material which is using our NES sulphur cathode powder. On the right, you see a sheet that looks somewhat like it, but that sheet on the right is either NMC or LFP. So you can see what the company is trying to do is to change one thing and to minimize variation in the production process. And basically, we're replacing expensive, toxic, critical minerals with simple sulphur. Now, how do we go about doing that? Sulphur has always had the enormous potential to be an important battery chemistry in the cathode, and that is because it is the lightest material. A very light material means that we can make very highly energy dense batteries, lots of energy for weight, and it had a few obstacles, though, a few things that were holding it back. Foremost amongst that was what's called polysulfide shuttle. And the nano-encapsulated sulphur technology that we use eliminates polysulfide shuttle. Also, sulphur had been held back by power characteristics. We support very high power. It's very low cost. We're supporting and testing against a very wide temperature range. The material intrinsically has low expansion and contraction characteristics. Now, that's very important when you start to consider the cell types that you make from the material. It's important in liquid electrolyte cells, but very, very important in solid electrolyte cells. And one thing very important about this technology is that it also retains a very high sulfur percentage. So it's actually the sulfur that's doing the energy storage. And so by maintaining that high sulfur percentage, that means that as well as having high power, wide temperature range, low cost, we've got very high energy density. I want to touch for a little bit just on the two other business units. So firstly, our integration division. Very proud of what the team is doing there. You can see on the right the first of their systems that they've commissioned. That was the group energy project, operating very, very soundly. We've got a road show, and that site is being shown in March 2026 as part of a major conference down in Australia. The team has built a substantial pipeline, which is between the identifying project and the proposal stage, but it is a long sales cycle business. So we're not projecting revenue from this business in 2026. Instead, what we're working towards is maturing our pipeline and building that out in 2027. The recycling group, and call out to young Jake and team who are building battery minerals. These guys are knocking it out of the park at the moment, doing an excellent job. What do we do with this? This is technology that we acquired from Johnson Matthey when we acquired the Oxis sulphur portfolio. So this team has established their UK testing facility in London. They've validated their technology at benchtop scale, and they're now scaling it to larger volumes and validating the unit economics. This is a independent business building inside of GELION and creating value in its own right. They have done a great job of coming up with their techno-commercial proposition. Basically, when you recycle lithium batteries, you end up with a black mass, this material called a black mass, which is all of the materials that are in the battery all sort of mixed up. Now, that's a hazardous material. There are shipping regulations coming in around what you can do with that material. What this team does is to extract from the material the lithium, and by extracting the lithium, they also extract the fluorine at the same time. They result in an outcome that is more valuable to the shredder who's producing the black mass, and they produce a material, an alloy that is safe to ship. So solid business model being developed by our team here, and great work on the technology. Watch this space around what is happening with battery minerals. Okay, status update for our businesses. We committed we would deliver our cathode active materials to our partners to commence the pouch cell manufacturing. And indeed, we have done that. Our nano-encapsulated cathode active material has been supplied to TDK, and our Gen 3 has gone to Kinetic, and that's being put into pouch cell prototypes at the moment. We expanded our advisory panel by adding Professor Yazami. We have said that we'll be expanding into the US, and there are very active discussions progressing there, and in multiple global partners around a range of applications and geographies right now. We said that we'd advance our integration solutions pipeline, and there's progress being made on that pipeline continuously. Strengthen our balance sheet. Thank you very much to all the investors that joined us, and those were existing investors that contributed into our round in November 2025, which strengthened our balance sheet and brought on some large institutional funds to join our journey. We are delivering on our technological commitments as well. So we said that we'd commence our pouch cell prototyping with partners. Indeed, TDK has successfully manufactured the initial nano-encapsulated sulphur pouch cells, and the results are in line with our expectations. The first Gen 3 pouch cells have been manufactured by Kinetic, and now we're transferring the capability to support the nano-encapsulated sulphur between our Australian team and our UK team, so that they can support Kinetic to prototype using our nano-encapsulated sulphur. We said we'd scale up our CAM in 2026. Thank you very much, ARENA, coming back and supporting us again. So we've extended the ARENA project budget from £4.8 million up to 5.3. Of course, that's shared funding, and focused and extended our project scope to support what we're doing with our sulphur CAM fabrication. ARENA's support also has allowed us to bring online our ACPC, and that will be leading to our ability to produce and prepare specification sheets for the material. We said that we would achieve our target aerial capacity, and we've achieved that milestone as well. So we're very pleased that our crew has managed to scale our materials from the original 1.5Q all the way to 4Q, 4Q being the critical milestone for, that's the size or the density that we'll be using for our commercial high energy density sulphur cathodes. Continuing to file patents, including around the nano-encapsulated sulphur. And we said that we'd validate the recycling technology at benchtop scale, and that has been achieved. So delivering on our commercial commitments and on our technological commitments. I'd like to pass to Amit now, who will update on the financial results.
Thank you, John. Apologies, everyone. I'm having technical issues, so I have to switch off my camera so I can be heard properly. On this slide, let me start with where we are today financially. I think the underlying message on this slide is all the core financial metrics are improving and continue to improve over the last few periods. You will total income increase slightly, modestly from 0.4 million to 0.5 million. This is higher grant income from the ARMD4 program by APC in the UK and the ARENA grant program. This continued to decrease over the period. So in FY24, our adjusted EBITDA loss was 2.9 million, which has now decreased to 2.4 million. This is a reflection of us trying our best to access non-dilutive grant as much as possible and continue to reduce our operating cost base. For grant income, I want to emphasize how important grant income is. They're just not a means of getting non-dilutive capital. They are a stamp of approval for UK governments. When these grants, a lot of diligence that goes into it, and if you're successful, you get these grant income. So this is a technical stamp of approval from the Australian and the UK government saying what we are doing. There is a lot of confidence from that we are on the right track. It also allows us to work with quality partners like Kinetic.
Seems we have a problem with Amit's connection there. So as you can see, continued strong stewardship of our financials. We're improving on pretty well every metric of operation of our business, even while we are scaling our business. In 2026, half two, we will be starting to do a little bit more investment. So in the 2025 period, and indeed the 3 years of my stewardship of the company as CEO, we have progressively controlled our expenses and continually delivered more from the company. We will be accelerating just a little bit in some key areas, and we're highlighting that on the screen here for you now. We are increasing our equipment capex a little in the period. There's a 0.9 million pound of equipment that we're bringing in. This equipment allows us to start to scale the production of our materials, and we need to be able to do that in order to get the materials out to all the customers or the collaboration partners and customers that we're starting to support. Good news is that 0.5 of that comes from GELION, and 0.4 is being covered through our grant programs. In terms of our UK team, we are expanding our capabilities in the UK. Really grateful to Faraday and the APC up in the UK. It's our intent to strengthen everything that we're doing in the UK and in Australia at the moment. And as we're doing that, what we're doing is also strengthening our presence into the US. So you'll hear a lot in the next period from us about what is happening in each one of those territories. I'm doing a lot of travel with our team at the moment. We are working very intensively, particularly in the UK, in Australia, in Japan, and in the USA. All right, what I'd like to do now is to give you a view of what it is that we've done, why we've done it, and where we are going next. So looking at our technology and collaboration progress. What are we doing? Shamelessly, we are aiming to secure leadership globally in sulphur technology at the very time that it is most important. We are catalyzing sulphur, both as a specialist battery cathode material and as a general battery cathode material. We're doing that by a capital light model, and we are being very successful in implementing that as a capital light model by way of collaborations across the entire supply chain. We're working very hard on genuine product market fit and reducing our time to market. So you saw us very active in that in 2025. You saw the cell technology and manufacture arrangements we put in place with TDK and with Kinetic. You saw us put in place the technology arrangements with Max Planck Institute, with Oxford. And previous to that, you saw us through the acquisitions of the Johnson Matthey, Oxis Technology, and the Oxlid entity. This is a company that is moving quickly and effectively. So 2025, big effort on technology and cell leadership. That gave us product paths. So we have one material, and that one material we are taking on 4 distinct product paths. The first of those is where we take our GELION cathode active material, our NES, and we combine it with lithium metal and liquid electrolytes. That's the cell down on the bottom left. We then also are developing it with solid state. You know about the relationship that we have in the UK with Oxford around solid state material, and also the great support that we've had from APC and with our collaboration up in Nottingham around solid state. In the middle, we have the graphitic the graphitic anode-based cell. Now, this is an area of particular importance for us because as we develop this is where we become fully drop-in. Why Professor Yazami? Professor Yazami's work is right there. He is a master of the art of intercalation of lithium into a graphitic anode. On the right, what you have is a room temperature sodium sulfur cell. So this cell is sodium, carbon, and sulfur. Looking across the 4 of them, all 4 cell targets come from one material. The 2 on the right include supplementary processes, which is called metallation, lithiation, or sodiation. But our work in 2025 was about technology and getting to these product targets. So each one of these cells, we are prototyping in our laboratories, even as we prepare to scale our materials. So let's look at where we go from here. 2026. 2026 is about make and market. And again, in addressing that, the way we're approaching it is through collaboration. So we're investing in leadership in the middle here in this sulfur technology cell manufacture area. But now my focus on collaboration activity and on customer activity is in the process development and the application stages. This is up the top here and down the bottom. How do you make and scale the material? How do you, who uses the material? How do they apply it? What are the applications that they apply it to? If you look at that application line, you see that we're aiming for electric vehicles, we're aiming for defense, we're aiming for transportation in all forms, we're aiming over on the right for BESS and battery energy storage as well. Process engineering, and this is what you're seeing. One material, the core material, the nano-encapsulated sulphur, we're working to put in place process engineering collaborations for the general material. That general material then flows all the way down to the lithium metal anode products on the left. And then you can see the lithiation. Again, here we're looking at collaboration again to put us on a fast path into the lithium-ion battery drop-in approach. Over on the right, the sodiation and the room temperature sodium sulfur. We're still doing some laboratory work at the process engineering level. So we'll do that work before we start to put in place process collaboration. So this is a company committed to leadership and committed to maximizing collaboration as we go. Collaboration's at the application level. So at the application levels, this is where we're working with the people who use the batteries to make the equipment that uses the batteries. And I'm highlighting 3 areas that we're focused on at the moment. First one over here is drones and robotics. So obviously, if you've got a very light battery technology, drones and robotics are an important area. If you're looking at the middle, that's now electric vehicles. And over on the right, what I'm highlighting here is that we're starting to work beyond the cell because we have to work on the pack and the product applications as well. So GELION is out there at the moment working with working on collaborations across process equipment and process engineering and on these applications as well. We're very busy on it and combining the 2 things that I've told you, the areas that we're working in Australia, the UK, USA and Japan. And we are currently, of course, working across collaborations in sulphur technology, cell development and manufacture, process development and applications. Now, for all of you who have been existing investors tracking GELION as we've come along, you know that up in the last few years, we've been moving very quickly. We've been effective in executing our collaborations and moving forward. This is a very exciting time for GELION. I've got a wonderful team. We have that team fully deployed, working really hard, and I have never been as busy working with that team across these collaborations to get this in place. A company that is determined to deliver leadership. So we're focused on structures that leverage our partners' strength to outwit our competitors, and using what is being done today rather than reinventing the wheel. And prioritizing our applications around those where we bring the greatest value. So what are some of the upcoming catalysts for you to look at? Well, we'll be advancing our commercial readiness. The folk at TDK, I cannot say enough about the quality of the people that we work with there. That is an extraordinary company. So our team is working closely with their team in Nagano to advance all of our work, delivering progress together. Thank you to the Kinetic team and all of the work that's going on in the UK towards being able to produce our products up here in the UK. We're going to de-risk but through the preparation of our commercial pouch cells. So that development is going on at the moment. Our team working with Kinetic and TDK and others towards real-world testing with our partners on the pouch cell technology. We're going to expand our strategic partnerships. So we've got very good progress, new collaboration agreements that we're working on with potential partners in the US, Europe and Asia. And we're continuing to focus on our capital discipline. So we're keeping everything tight. I did mention we're going to do a little bit more investment in the areas of highest returns. And we set out what we're going to be spending on there and how much we're going to be spending. This is in the highest areas of return for us, US expansion and commercialization pathways. And we're going to maximize non-dilutive government funding. We consider the governments who are backing us as our partners, and we steward everything that they give us as carefully as we steward all of the investors' funds that we are entrusted with. So the most exciting time for GELION, and huge call out to my team and my board who are supporting us with quality every day. I'd like to proceed to questions now.
That's great. Thank you very much for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions just by using the Q&A tab situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Just while the company take a few moments to review those questions submitted today, I'd like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your investor dashboard. As you can see, we have received a number of questions throughout today's presentation. Can I please ask you to read out the questions and give responses where appropriate to do so, and I'll pick up from you at the end.
Okay, thank you very much. Look, the first question here, we try to get through all our questions, so I'll try to do that today. As TDK moves towards qualification, which durability metric are you most focused on de-risking in the aging tests? That is a great question. Batteries are like a Rubik's Cube. You must have every aspect of the technology right. So energy density, of course, we're working on maintaining energy density, and so we're always working on getting the sulphur percentage up. We're working on power, great support from Max Planck Institute on working on power, particularly getting our voltage hysteresis down, getting our impedance lower. We're working on wide temperature range, so making sure that these cells are suitable to be used in the extreme conditions that we anticipate they will be used in. We're working on, of course, ensuring safety, which is foremost in everything that we do. At what stage of commercialization would a dual or US listing make strategic sense for GELION, if at all? That's a really interesting question. Look, we're working hard to get presence in the US at the moment. So US is an important market. It's also, a place where there's a lot of dynamism in battery tech at the moment. In terms of a US listing, look, pretty happy with our AIM listing. People keep saying things like we'd be on a higher multiple, might be on a higher multiple if we're on the US and things like that. Our focus at the moment is on delivering leadership in what we're doing, delivering the major collaborations. I think that as we do that, if there, this difference in valuation exists between the US and availability and capital in the UK is there, I think that that's just going to correct itself because I think, a good company has recognized where it is. There might come a time when it's right for us to look at the US, but I sort of have I really treasure the investors we got in the UK and all the support that we're getting. So I'd like to make the company successful and see where we go there. What is the status of your solid state separator, and do you think you will be able to integrate it into your semi-solid state battery anytime soon? We are working really hard on that at the moment. So the status is the team up at Nottingham, the GELION Europe team, are working with the solid state separator. We are what is called densifying it at the moment. So densifying it means that that's a technique to resist dendrites and things like that. It's an area that is good and strong, and then we'll integrate it. We're looking both at semi-solid state and we're looking at full solid state as well. Do you anticipate having enough time to be able to develop and demonstrate a lithium sulfur battery with good performance characteristics in time for the CENEX Expo this September? We are working towards that. So that is our goal. We retain that goal. We've progressed. We've made cells with Gen 3. The material has been shifted from Australia into the UK. So the UK is working to progress that, and then they'll take that material to Kinetic. So that's our goal, and we're still working to that target today. Is the Iron Blocks JDA still active? And if so, can you report back on progress and potential commercial partnerships? So Iron Blocks hit a wall, and that was an unfortunate thing with they had a customer, a large customer that hit its own wall, and that put a lot of pressure on Iron Blocks. Now, the work that we were doing with Iron Blocks is still active. Now, this is an area I have to be a little careful. I'm sorry, I try to answer every question as completely as I can. It's an area I've got to be a little careful because it is an area that we are very active on and developing at the moment. And I don't want to signal too much about what's happening there. So yes, all that work is current, albeit it won't be via iron blocks because of the challenges that happen with iron blocks. I like that NES has been trademarked. Can you expand more marketing on the technology and how it can be featured in industry publications? Hell yeah, absolutely. NES was trademarked for a reason. We want to see NES up alongside LFP and NMC. And call out to Janine, our marketing person, who's backed us by getting this presentation together and doing so much other stuff, doing a wonderful job on starting to get more presence for the company. So we will be working at that goal. Can you outline exactly what areas of development Dr. Yazami will be advising on? Well, Dr. Yazami, he's amazing. I love our conversations and the opportunity I have to talk with him. There are two areas of particular expertise of Dr. Yazami. First of those is the methods of intercalation of lithium into graphitic anodes. So earlier in the presentation, I talked about one of our goals being utilization of our sulphur cathode material with graphitic anodes, whether that's a full graphitic anode or it's a graphitic anode that also has silicon. He's a master in that area. Another area that Dr. Yazami is a master in is battery management. So he's held for many years leadership in the area of fast charge of standard lithium-ion cells. So he brings those skills, sending out a little, something I'll say about Professor Maschmeyer, about Professor Marcus Antonietti and Dr. Yazami. None of them are too proud to get their hands dirty and actually work directly with our team. They all get in and dig in. And from the early reactions with Professor Yazami, I would call out just how effective he was working with our team members inside of GELION. What yield are you getting from your product line? In producing our material, we have our inputs. They go into our reactor, and we make the nano-encapsulated sulphur. That's our prototype process at the moment. That process is effective, albeit there are areas that we want to improve in yield, where we'll be utilizing more of the components to make the finished product, and indeed that's one of the areas that we will be working on in collaboration with best practice process engineering companies. So I think the answer that you're probably looking for there is that our process is practical, and that with appropriate process engineering, I think we'll be at the end of the day getting very high yield from the materials being put in to the end product coming out. How similar are the developments in lithium sulfide to GELION's lithium sulfur, and is this a good sign? Is there any change or development in the overall plan outlined in the last fundraise document that you can cover, or is it simply on track? At the moment, we are simply on track. So we just follow on the plan that we told people we would be following, and we're delivering on that plan. Now, there's sort of two questions in this one. The first part of the question was how similar the developments in lithium sulfide and GELION's lithium sulfur. Lithium sulfide is a solid state electrolyte material. And in fact, the materials that we are using in our solid state work are sulfide materials. So I guess I would answer the question by saying it's a good sign. In John's comments about the half results, he mentions GELION has the potential to achieve tier 1 status. Yes. Can you explain what this means and maybe give an example of a tier one company? There are a number of leaders in our battery industry. I guess if you want me to just call one the one that comes to mind quickly would be Amprius in the US, which is a company that does silicon anode-based technologies. But there's a number of tier one companies. Tier one companies are companies that are respected as a leader in what they do. They typically have a very high valuation, and they're regarded as tier ones because they're working in an area where people can see that that area that they have leadership is going to intersect the industry and be something that makes cars work better than other cars or makes drones fly further than other drones. So it's always the end use that's important. And then those companies manage to position themselves as the renowned tech leader in that technology. So when I say that we have the potential to achieve tier one status, you can see, I hope from the presentation we gave today, that we are aggressively going after leadership in sulphur cathode technology. That's what my team live and breathe every day. The inspiration that I get as the CEO of this company is just going either to the Australian team or the UK team and getting them to do their presentations on what they've achieved in the last week or 2 weeks or month. It's all about being leaders in sulphur technology and having that technology meet the requirements of the market in beating our competitors. So when we achieve that leadership, that's when you are tier one, when you have that leadership and you have made the linkage to the applications, and the application providers are starting to collaborate with you. Sorry, the application companies, the car companies and the drone companies are starting to work with you. So look for development from GELION in that space. Can you tell me anything about the calendar life of the sulphur battery? Great question. Okay. I told you that we have we mastered polysulfide shuttle. Polysulfide shuttle is the thing that would normally affect shelf life or degradation. In terms of calendar life, we do need to do calendar life testing on the cathode, but we're quite confident about the calendar life of the cathode. In the presentation I showed you there were 4 different types of batteries. Each one of those batteries has a different sort of anode. So you've got lithium metal anodes, you've got graphitic anodes, and you've got liquid electrolytes, you've got solid electrolytes, and you've got the room temperature sodium sulfur. So the whole battery, the calendar life is a function of the whole battery, the anode, the electrolyte, and our cathode. The good news is that we believe that our sulfur cathode will be, I can't give you absolutes, but I believe that the sulfur cathode will not be the limiting factor in the life of the cell. When do you expect revenue from your recycling business? The recycling business is currently moving from lab scale with a goal to go up to pilot scale. As they go from pilot scale, as they go up to pilot scale and above, then they would be getting revenue. I'd rather not be specific about that, but watch this space on battery minerals. The group is doing particularly well. What competitors do you have in your selected business areas? Are they a threat to the success of GELION? We're a battery company. We're a battery technology company that is high risk, high reward, straight up. And we have competitors. There are other sulfur battery companies out there. There are companies that are trying to eat our lunch with alternate technologies. We are bloody good. We are a good company. I have a great team. We have a great technology and a great opportunity. So all I can say is that, yeah, there are competitors, but I'd rather be with Team GELION in the market, looking across everything that I know in the market today. What capacity will a standard 40-foot C container have, and how many cycles is it designed for? So I said there were 4 battery types: lithium metal anode, graphitic anode, liquid electrolyte, solid electrolyte, and room temperature sodium sulphur. Really, on this one, you're looking forward to probably the graphitic or the room temperature sodium sulphur. It's a very difficult question for me to answer quantitatively because there are several different answers to it. Some of our cells are designed for short cycle life, where we're doing extremely light cells for particular purposes. Others of our cells are designed for long cycle life. I think I need to keep that question there for a little bit further down the track. But our cathode material can be applied to the full range of applications, from the light cells for drones through automotive, through into battery energy storage. And that is the questions I believe that I have for today.
That's great. Thank you for covering all those questions you can from investors. And of course, the company can review all questions submitted today and will publish those responses on the Investor Meet Company platform. Just before redirecting investors to provide you their feedback, which I know is particularly important to the company, John, could I please just ask you for a few closing comments?
Sure. Look, thank you all for listening. It's been a long presentation. It's about positioning, it's about execution, it's about team. And I hope that through the course of this presentation, you got a feeling for the openness of the company. We do these periodically. We're always prepared to come back, answer the questions, refer to everything we've done before. For me personally, this is the most exciting time for GELION. This is where the rubber hits the road for the business. And I'm really grateful to everybody out there that is supporting me and our team to get after this exciting opportunity. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you for updating investors today. Now, please ask investors not to close the session, as you'll now be automatically redirected to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete, and I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of GELION PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's presentation, and good morning to you all.